Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Night Magic. Today we are doing Chapter 2, No Escape Pauper. And if you've been following us on the Ravnica War Saga, last week was a different set. We were doing Momir last week, which is, it's kind of difficult to face somebody head on, whereas Pauper, we can actually face people head to head. I would like to hear some of y'all's favorite Pauper cards out there and why. Let's have a discussion while Roguelink is waiting to reconnect to Discord because Discord is doing Discord things. But thank you everybody so much for waiting. We're going to be doing some matches tonight between Clifford, COF1, and of course myself and Roguelink stepping into the arena as well to do some matches. So please let us know what your favorite Pauper cards are and why. I'll start with mine to get the discussion going here. I am a huge fan of anything that is hexproof in Pauper, so that goes to our friend Cold Water Snapper in particular. So what you're going to want to do if you are in a Pauper format and you're thinking to yourself, how the heck am I going to win with all these common cards? What will happen is you will want to play, again, hexproof. So Dimir is probably the biggest proponent of this. So you go with Cold Water Snapper, a 4/5 hexproof for 5 and 1 island, so 6 mana total. And the other one you'd want to go for is Soul the Rapids, flying hexproof, 3/2 for 5. So you may think, 3/2 hexproof flying, I mean, that's great and all, but 3/2 is not that big. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to enchant it with something. So in particular, Dimir is a wonderful color set because you have access in Pauper to an enchantment called Mark of the Vampire. Mark of the Vampire is a 4 mana cost total, 3 colorless, 1 black to cast, and it is enchanted creature, gets +2/+2 in lifelink. And since there's no sacrifice outlet, which is one of the few ways in which you would get rid of Hexproof, the other one being a Wrath spell, which, let's face it, to my knowledge, there are no Wrath spells that are common or ever have been common. And sacrifice outlets, especially in the current standard, which is what we have to work with in Arena, are also not possible. So without a Wrath and without a sacrifice outlet, it's rather difficult to take out these creatures. So one of the easiest ways to step into this Pauper format is to take a hexproof creature, enchant, especially with lifelink or with Arcane Flight as well, if you would like to give the Cold Water Snapper flying, and have fun with it. So, again, anybody can play Pauper. The only thing is you may want some common wildcards, but even then, not necessary for this, per se. And I see right now on Clifford's screen, I see a Pauper Wizards. That's kind of appropriate considering the company that owns this. I see Pauper Thalids, and the interesting thing about Pauper Thalids is some of those cards used to not be commons, but because they're common in the current sets, they are allowed for use. So I believe if we see the card Thalid Omnivore, that was, I believe, an uncommon at some point. So that's really interesting. The other one is Pauper Red Deck Wins, which, again, not quite as effective as our standard Red Deck Wins. You don't have Steam Cane, you don't have Experimental Frenzy, but at the same time, you do have access to all those tiny wizards and all the tiny pirates in there. So again, Pauper Red Deck Wins, if you already have a Red Deck Wins built in the constructed format, you'll probably be able to put most of one together of a Red Deck Wins variety. So again, Hexproof Red Deck Wins probably my top 2 recommendations for this. Ooh, and with me, I believe that has stepped into the booth is Roguelink. Welcome, Roguelink. We were just talking about some of our favorite Pauper cards before we get this first match started.
Hello, Sky.
Hello.
Yeah, favorite Pauper cards. I know when I was testing with stuff, I actually think I have a new favorite Pauper card. Because of some testing that I was doing over this last week, grinding the event.
I'm all ears. What do you got for me?
Okay, follow me on this one. Justicar's Portal.
All right, I'm gonna have to look these up here. You're pulling these common cards even I haven't heard of. Hang on.
So it's 1 and a white for bouncing a creature, and when it comes back to the battlefield, it is first strike. It's really good in the black-white enter the battlefield deck that I've got going today, because you can use it on defense to block, bounce your creature, and just absorb all the damage, or bounce before blocks, get first strike, and just murder your opponent's creature. Or even bounce before combat, attack, and then you're swinging in with first strike, getting another ETB trigger. great with all the drain in black-white.
You're gonna have to show me how good it is. But on that note, we have been waiting for 15 minutes. Let's get into some magic here. Our first matchup will be Clifford versus the Seawolf 1, and we'll see what they use. And Rogalink, you can totally school me with this ETB or Enter the Battlefield effect you have later on. I look forward to it.
Yeah, hopefully it performs, but it's definitely better than the amass pile that I was using for a while.
A mass? That would definitely be a thing. What colors were you using?
So I was using all three. So I was doing the black, red, blue amass, and I basically said, okay, does this card say amass on it? 4 of. And then a few other cards.
Okay, so you're using Grixis. Grixis is a very strong color combination, so I can't say I fault you there.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I definitely think in terms of Pauper decks, though, and it looks like Clifford is repping one of the decks as well. Pauper Wizards is very powerful.
I've not seen that one yet either.
Yeah, the white or blue-red Wizards deck is very spicy in this format, especially with the 2 weirds coming in at common. The red weird, which gets a +1/+1 counter on it every time you cast a non-creature spell, as well as the Drake, whose name I can't remember, which is a 2/3 for 2 and a blue that gets a +1/+1 counter on it for every time you cast a non-creature spell.
It seems good, and we're ready to roll here. Here we go, Clifford versus the Seawolf 1. Pauper, let's go at it, using the arena as well. I love it. So again, we have access to those dual lands. We have Guild Gates. So the Izzet Guildgate is going to be used here. Goblin Electromancer. I do like that card in this format.
Yeah, Electromancer's super solid. Anything that makes your spells cheaper, allowing you to play more per turn, essentially turns everything, even your ops, into combat tricks if you've got the right creatures in play. Omen Speaker, Theros Classic.
Oh yes, this one was very good, especially in draft. I see Omen Speaker turn up a ton during draft. So off blink of an eye, I think Clifford will actually decide to... Ooh, Clifford wants the blink of an eye. That's a tough decision, Rogalink. You're short mana as it is, and even though everything only costs 2 in the hand, you can't help but wonder if you may want mana so you can play more than one thing per turn, especially considering now Clifford doesn't know this, but look at the enchantments that are in Seawolf's hand right now. Square's Devotion, probably my favorite white enchantment, +1/+1 lifelink, and an additional creature token onto the field as well with lifelink.
Yeah, Dub's really nice too. +2/+2 and First Strike. It also makes the creature a knight, which had some synergy in a deck that I was building for a while, but I ended up cutting it for the cartouches when those were still in play. But yeah, as a First Strike enchantment, Dub is pretty good. Not sure what other kinds of creatures Seawolf is going to have here.
Now, fortunately for Clifford also, Clifford has a couple of options here. Clifford could either choose to blink an eye the jungle creature back to the hand, or Clifford could also choose to shock, and in this case, Clifford's going to get a really nice 2-for-1.
Yeah, I think Clifford's hand is definitely built to counter what Seawolf is doing right now. Bounce is very powerful about any sort of enchantress or enchantment heavy strategy. I don't think any of the proper enchantresses, that is, creatures that benefit to you playing an enchantment or boosting your enchantments, I don't think any of those are at common as far as I'm aware. But this Blink of the Eye is going to be real nice for both a tempo play and getting rid of that Squire's Devotion.
Yes, the funny thing is though right now, again, Clifford doesn't know this, Seawolf actually holds a second Squire's Devotion in hand, so... Oh, Seawolf is going to get shocked here to the Elvish Rejuvenator. So in other words, based on what I'm seeing in Clifford's current hand, the next time something gets enchanted on Seawolf's field, it may remain for quite some time.
Yeah, I think all of... Yeah, none of that's removal. Probably going to take the land here. That makes sense. gonna get up to 4, play more than 1 card a turn. But yeah, the Clifford's starting to run out of removal gas, but to be fair, he's used quite a bit of it effectively against Seawolf's setup so far. And here comes the dub. Yep, here comes the dub. Probably on the 1-3. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and there's a good reason for this too. Again, removal it's there, but it's difficult to come by. That's why Blink of an Eye is such a great card for this format as well. Here's the other problem. If Clifford doesn't find more Blink of an Eye soon, that Chaplain, I mean, 5 toughness, what's the only thing that can typically get rid of 5 toughness in Pauper other than just plain old destroy a creature? That would be out next list is Cruelty, the negative 5/5 instant, but you have to be playing black to do that. So right now, Seawolf is fortifying this Chaplain. Probably will use either Squire's Devotion on something else, so in case Blink happens, he'll have another creature to rely on here. But this is kind of a stalemate right now. The Chaplain can't do too much right now, and the Jungle Delver isn't doing too much either. I believe the pumps of that card is not cheap.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting bit of back and forth so far. I feel like Clifford's going to start regretting their choices in terms of the early aggressive removal that they were going for. The Prophet's going to be really nice, though. Scry every single time you play a non-creature spell. And that Take Vengeance is going to be really interesting. I'm not sure what Clifford's going to be tapping out here. Mostly just going to wall up with the Prophet and the Omen Speakers. But that 3/5 Chaplain's going to keep coming in. Ooh, there's the Blink of an Eye.
The Blink of an Eye is going to have significant value here, and this is one of those points where Clifford's going to have a major choice to be made. Do you bounce the Jungle Delver at this point because it's going to get out of control, especially with lifelink there, or do you bounce the Chaplain because that is a huge wall to get over? Let's see what Clifford does here. Of course, going to use the Kicker ability to draw a card. More great value here. And Clifford gets to scry a land to the bottom of the deck, so this turn is proving to have a lot of value for Clifford.
Even Wind Mage, another creature that gets boosted from non-creature spells.
Now here's another card I've seen that's rather popular in Pauper lately. This is Territorial Hammerskull, and it is for all intent and purposes, if you've ever seen the Stag, which is another 3/3 for 4 in white where you can tap something when it attacks, this is another one of those creatures, except this one is cheaper, and it may have a little less attack, but the value's there. Only 3 mana to cast this, and with the same great ability as the Stag.
I'm a big fan of the Hammerskull in Pauper. That 3 toughness is really important, especially when it comes to most of the direct removal in this, which is 2 damage, with the exception of the Obnixilus's Cruelty, which is relatively new to the format.
There's some classic cards here in Clifford's hand. Gotta love Ashero Pyromancer. I'm a big fan of that card. Unfortunately, as Roguelink was saying though, without the removal, this match is going to get very difficult very quickly for Clifford. And look at all of this life Seawolf is gaining per turn. So much value off of the Jungle Delver at this point.
Now, starting to clean up these enchantments, but you've still got one big 5/5 to deal with. Probably going to take care of some of these 1/1s. Prepping for pumps, that makes sense.
Yeah, big is an understatement here, because this isn't only a 5/5 on Seawolf's side of the field. It can get bigger, and it has lifelink. The only other thing that this card could possibly have at this point to make it worse is Hexproof.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many hexproof cards there are in common. I wouldn't be surprised if green-blue has at least a couple, considering the whole Merfolk hexproof bit. Another shock, but it's not going to be enough. At least Clifford can get a scry here, maybe dig for something. Fortunately, that Jungle Delver doesn't have trample, and Clifford has a decent amount of bodies that he can block with. Well, -2.
To answer your question, though, all of the hexproof creatures are in semicolors, so that is blue or green. There are 3 hexproof creatures in blue and 2 in green. Seven at this point for Seawolf. Dang.
Yeah, that Delver's definitely been able to run away with quite a few counters on it. Plus the Devotion giving it lifelink, it's going to be really hard for Clifford to come back from this.
And the Hammer Skull is just creating that much more of an advantage because Clifford cannot stack block as easily either.
Right. Clifford, with the toughness of Clifford's creatures, he's usually losing at least 1 for every double block against the Hammer Skulls.
Yeah, and the worst part of this is Clifford can't even swing back at Seawolf. Because look at the amount of life Seawolf has at this point. Seawolf can afford to soak all of it.
Yeah, Clifford's been dead to a full crackback for several turns now. Seawolf with more than enough mana to just keep putting those counters on the Delver. Yeah, I think Clifford's doing the math there. Not quite enough to mass block there. And the Izzet Guildgate's not going to do it. You can stall for another couple of turns, but it's not going to last much longer. Ooh, and another Hammer Skull.
Yeah, the hybrid there is a really great card as well. Now, we didn't get to see the full power of the hybrid there on Seawolf's side of the field, but I believe that's Adapt 4. So suddenly, what appears to be a bear, a 2/2 for 2, becomes a 6/6 with Adaptation added to it.
Right, it's one of the more expensive adapts. I believe it's 6 to adapt, but it's still a pretty beefy creature, and at the very least a mana sink late game.
So now Clifford opting to go first here. I really like this hand. No pun intended, by the way, on the app. The only bad thing is all of Clifford's current dual mana does have to enter tapped. And look at that turn 1 from Seawolf. Right away, Delver says, "Do you remember me?"
Yeah, fortunately, Clifford has a decent number of blockers on the battlefield to deal with that Delver, such as the Prophet or the Aven Wind Mage. That Chaplain is going to be a problem, though. It's probably going to be carrying the dub yet again.
Again, the tapped land streak continues for Clifford, and although this may look like Clifford's in good shape, I don't know, I'm foreseeing a dub in Delver situation, or probably a dub in Chaplain, or a dub and Hammer Skull situation. My goodness gracious, Seawolf seems to have very strong overdures, but I believe that's what his deck is built around.
Yeah, Seawolf definitely seems to be rocking green-white buff my stuff.
I'm trying to remember if there's even a lot of common exile here.
You know, I'm not sure. Usually when I'm building a white pauper deck, I generally go for the more, the cheaper tap kill effects. It's usually pretty good against aggressive decks, but Yeah, enchantment removal isn't exactly thorough at common. The best you've got is a bounce spell, and that's assuming it's an aura. Clifford with a lot of spells in hand, but unfortunately I think Seawolf is just going to be going off a little too quickly here. Oh, there we go, bouncing the Chaplain, getting rid of that dub. Fortunately for Clifford, that's the only enchantment that Seawolf has drawn so far, but Seawolf is definitely going to have the body advantage here soon, since I don't think Clifford's drawn a land for the last couple of turns.
No, and whenever Clifford is drawing lands, take a look. Every single land of Clifford's is dual land. And while that's normally a good thing, in Pauper, all the dual lands enter tapped, which does not help anything.
Yeah, red-blue being allied colors does have the advantage of having 2 tapped lands to work with, the lake as well as the Izzet Guildgate. But unfortunately, that means you're going to have 8 lands that just come into play tapped as slow mana. There we go, the Adapt and the Opt pumping the Wind Mage, getting rid of that Hammer Skull.
After only grabbing another land at this point, Clifford may be able to use this Journey Mage, though, to an advantage. That Journey Mage bounces a creature. Very important considering the field right now.
Yeah, Clifford's going to want to get rid of that 6/6 as fast as possible. The other 2 creatures aren't too bad to block right now. Unfortunately, Seawolf doesn't quite have enough mana to both play the hybrid and pump it in the same go. But it's still going to be a massive threat next turn.
Alright, Seawolf with the swing here. Maybe not. Seawolf goes to swing and he's like, nah, I don't think I want to pump Delver. But Seawolf does have the option at the end of the turn to pump the Delver before his next turn.
Well, I think Delver is actually a 6. Isn't it?
Is it really? I suppose that makes sense because it's
oh no,
a
sorry,
common.
Delver. I thought you were talking about the hybrid. Yeah,
Oh no,
Delver,
Delver
is 4, yes.
Yes. So the nice thing about what Seawolf's doing is, yes, Seawolf has a ton of mana. However, Seawolf also has a mana sink, and having too much mana is never a bad thing if you have a place to put the mana forth into. In this case, the hybrid and the Delver.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting attack. Clifford has 2 spells that he can use to pump 3 of his creatures. But Seawolf can either pump the hybrid or pump the Delver. This is going to be a very important turn for blocks and where these pump spells go.
Clifford saying, no, I'm done with the 1/3s. I have 1 spell left. Although that shock may prove to come in handy soon. It's a little late, but it's still a dang good card right now.
So Clifford going for the double pump, which unfortunately was a bit much. That Wind Mage wasn't going to be able to survive either way, but with all that pumping and with the 2 spells, Clifford is now looking at a board, like the only one with creatures on the board. He might be able to come back from this.
Yes, because Seawolf's creatures are so small, unless it is a creature that has Adapt or some sort of +1/+1 counter pumped to it, Seawolf is in trouble here.
Yeah, Clifford stabilizing on 3, which is going to be pretty impressive. That shock going straight for the Stray, I'm sure. Pumping both the Prophet and the Wind Mage. Allowing Clifford to crack in for a decent amount.
Clifford opting to keep the Omen Speaker on top. Now, there's a couple different ways this could shake out. I believe that by doing this, Clifford has given Seawolf a little more time, possibly, and you don't want to give Selesnya more time.
I think what Clifford's thinking is if Seawolf gets some sort of enchantment, he can kill the Stray, getting rid of the enchantment in one go with that shock. I think that's why he's being a little less aggressive. He doesn't have to worry about enchantments so much here. He's got that under control. He does have to worry about a big, like you said, a big adapt or some sort of self-pumping creature.
Yes, that is the thing. Now, unfortunately for Seawolf here, Seawolf is going downhill quickly. Because of the nature of Selesnya, you will draw a lot of lands. You will draw a lot of ramp, unfortunately, in this case. So Seawolf does not reach a bigger creature, which is the finisher that usually green and white can do, then Seawolf's going to be in a lot of trouble versus which is really funny here considering swarming is it situation right now in the board state.
Right, and I think with 2 spells, this might actually... Yeah, this is just it with this blink and the shock. Pumping both the Prophet and the Wind Mage a couple times, leaving a clear board for Clifford to swing in for the win.
All right, and we are going to game 3, folks. Oh, this is the kind of hand you want to keep, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, if that had just 1 blue, like a red and a blue, I definitely would have kept that.
All right, Clifford having a nice mana base here to start. Seawolf is very close to having an optimal hand. I mean, 2, as I've heard called Party Hawks, are very good in the opener.
I like it. I haven't heard that before, but Party Hawks is real good.
Oh, anything with lifelink is just gas in this format.
Yep, getting that Prophet down. Nice body early game. Shields up. Plus can really help run away with games late game. The 2 Scries is really going to help on this opt here, for instance.
Are you ready for some Charmed Strays, Roguelink?
Oh boy. I wonder if anyone's tried drafting the Charmed Stray deck yet.
You know there is somebody out there in the multiverse who has. Now, here in Pauper, it's not possible, but in Draft, you can actually go beyond the 4-card limit as far as a playset's concerned. So if you draft 7 Charmed Strays, you have 7 Charmed Strays in your deck in terms of draft format.
Yeah, it's always been one of the interesting rules about draft that I think can really reward people for reading the draft correctly. I remember one of my early drafts, I ended up with a ton of flyers just because no one else was in my color, and my deck ended up winning the tournament for that because I correctly read the room, which is always a great feeling when you end up going to any sort of Magic event.
Oh, don't you love when that happens?
Another Wind Mage, which is really good. Every single Wind Mage or Prophet that Clifford plays is just going to make each and every one of his spells that much more powerful.
There's the 1/3 Chaplain, and oh my goodness, this is a part of Seawolf's deck we have not seen, although Seawolf cannot play it yet. That is a Bloom Hulk on Seawolf's side of the field. And you may think, well, what's so special about that? Bloom Hulk is a 4/4 for 4 that states when it hits the field, Seawolf can choose to proliferate. And while right now that may not seem to make a big difference, if those Delvers can pump, proliferate gets out of hand really quickly.
Clifford clearing the skies, cracking in with 2 pumped Aven Wind Mages. Next turn, probably planning to do the exact same thing. Seawolf unfortunately cut on land.
Can you believe this board state though on Seawolf's side, considering how restricted Seawolf is with lands right now, as you were saying?
Yeah, Seawolf is definitely getting down a ton of cheap creatures. I think Clifford here is going to be clearing the skies, probably playing every spell in his hand for some real big Wind Mages. Oh, if only Clifford could draw that, that'd be game. Actually, no, you can just, yeah, there we go. Or a shock to the face, that would have worked. Shock to the face, shock to the face!
Are you sending those telepathic radio waves over to, Clifford?
There we go.
And that's gonna do it. GG, what a well-fought match. Unfortunately, Seawolf did not draw enough lands, and you never want to see that happen in Magic, but Seawolf also held his own considering it was 2 lands. I just want to remind people about that.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you the incredible burst potential of the Wizards deck. You get a couple creatures that pump from spells, and the next thing you know, all of your 1-drops just fuel this massive turn for incredible amounts of damage.
All right, well, I'm excited for more Pauper action. Who do we have coming up next?
I believe it's Seawolf and Clifford with 2 different decks.
I would love to see a rematch, and you know what? The 2 different decks will keep it fresh. Let's bring it on. So, Roguelink, have you ever seen Thalids in action before, or Saprolings, if you will, in Pauper, or in even draft format? Because it's pretty popular if you draft Dominaria.
So I know when Dominaria came out, I did end up building, just like Aristocrats is in my blood. So I ended up building the green-black sort of Saproling Aristocrats, working with that 2/3 for 4 that drains your opponent every time one of your creatures dies. So in Constructed, I'm definitely familiar with Saprolings, but in terms of the Pauper variant, I have no idea which of these cards is actually common. But it's a very interesting deck. It's a go wide with some real interesting, bonuses, so to speak. You're not going to have some of the bigger Saproling generators that are at rare, but there are a lot of ways to make Saprolings regardless.
Alright, so here we go. Let's get ready to rumble. We have Saprolings. Not quite sure what Seawolf is playing yet, but again, Red Deck wins. The classic Red Deck wins versus Saproling. So here's some things to expect in this matchup. Red Deck wins, again, we'll get out there quickly, just as standard Red Deck wins will happen. But here's going to be Seawolf's greatest challenge here. Saprolings like to replenish themselves often. So in other words, when one leaves the field, there will be another one to take its place, this being the case with Deathbloom Thallid. Or even Thallid Omnivore, at least when it eats a Saproling, it gains +2/+2, which is pretty beefy in this format, and it makes for interesting both attacks and blocks.
Right. If something's targeting one of the Saprolings, Clifford can just sacrifice it to the Thallid Omnivore to not only pump the Omnivore and heal some life, but also just negate whatever spell's coming down, since they'll no longer be a valid target. Unfortunately, Clifford getting stuck on land here. Plenty of 3 and 4 drops, but no mana to play them.
And Seawolf here, and if you're playing red, this is totally the way you should go about it. You very much take advantage of the mana situation. When you're playing red and you're trying to defeat your opponent as quickly as possible, if you see there's an issue with the land situation, you do not hesitate. You go full steam ahead and try to get as much damage in as you can. Now here's where the problem starts. Seawolf is going to start using removal on these Deathbloom Thalids and Saffrolings in general. And again, a lot of these creatures replace themselves after, which right here, Seawolf has lost at this point, or would have lost, to Vishino Pyromancers had it not been for the Stormstrike. Great play there by Seawolf.
Right, and fortunately at common, Mono Red does have the Fire Urchin, which is yet another one of those creatures that pumps themselves from non-creature spells. Plus it's a 1/3, so it's a fairly defensive option for these types of decks. Plus it has Trample, because we need to add more words on that card, apparently.
So now, this is a card you all might realize. This is Fungal Infection. And from what I can understand, this is not the first time Fungal Infection has been in a Magic format.
Oh, I had no idea Fungal Infection was a reprint.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking up right now. It's either the Fungal Infection or the Thalid. One of the two has been an uncommon before. I'm going to get on that right now, do some research, and see exactly where this has come from.
I see Wolf continuing to power through all these creatures Clifford's dropping down. Fortunately, with all those cheap all those cheap red spells, Seawolf is able to just 1-2 punch down Clifford's entire board. Clifford opting to do the sacrifice cost for Spark Harvest. Pretty good in this situation, getting rid of one of the Fire Urchins, which is a very spicy card, but that Spell Gorger Weird is going to come down, which is going to keep those counters too.
Alright, so Clifford wanting to get some value, again, both attacking and defending off of the Thalid Omnivore. Now look at this card that Seawolf has here. What a perfect card against Saffrolings. Radiating Lightning is something that pings everything, I believe, on the opponent's side for one. It may be to everything. I'm going to wait. And 1 damage each that creature that player controls. So right here, this forces Clifford to sacrifice the remaining Saffroling on the field. And suddenly, Seawolf has the advantage here, given the current board state. As long as that weird keeps growing, which it probably will, given the nature of red deck wins, Seawolf does have a little bit of an edge. However, now there's been more Thalid Omnivores drawn here. So this is very much a back and forth at this point. If Seawolf keeps drawing lands here, he's going to be in some trouble, because these Omnivores are very difficult to deal with.
Right, and without any Saprolings, though, Clifford is also in a very cautious state. Both players at a bit of a standstill here.
This is another very popular draft card that I saw, Goblin Gathering. And again, I'm sure much like the Charmed Stray, there was always that person who would grab all of the Goblin Gatherings to keep multiplying Goblin tokens on the field.
Clifford taking advantage of the redundancy, trying to dig through the deck, unfortunately getting more and more land.
It seems to be in terms of land down arena, when it rains, it pours. No pun intended.
that shock can be pretty good here. Not only is it going to pump the Urchin, but it's going to allow Seawolf to kill whatever blocks it. Unfortunately, it doesn't pump the defense of the Urchin, so it's going to die regardless.
My guess here is Clifford is going to sacrifice the Spark Reaper. Oh, no sacrifice there. I was thinking that Clifford was maybe going to pump it in anticipation there might be something more to it with the card Seawolf is bluffing with in hand.
So Omnivore is only able to sacrifice Saprolings.
Well, that is a bummer. So I guess not every card in Clifford's deck is a Saproling. That is very much a weakness then, if that's the case.
Yeah, it's definitely all Thalids and Saprolings. Usually one uses or generates the other. Thalids using or generating Saprolings. Fortunately, Clifford is getting a decent amount of Saprolings on the board here with a couple of Shepherds back to back. Ah, sorry, my bad. It can sacrifice anything, but it gains life when it eats Saprolings.
Okay, that's what I thought too. I mean, I was going to go back and read the text, but again, in response, at any point, Clifford can sacrifice something to pump the creature, but again, with something in the case of last turn, maybe Clifford was trying to test and see if Seawolf would play something else from the hand, because again, at the time, Seawolf was bluffing. This time, however, Seawolf is not. Here comes the Storm Strike.
First Strike plus Trample doing work here. Still getting in for one and taking out that Shepherd.
Ooh, there's the card right now, and it combos rather nicely in a sacrifice deck of this nature. This is Vicious Offering, and the kicker cost for this is to sacrifice a creature. And when there's a lot of Saprolings laying around, it's pretty easy to sacrifice things.
Right, Clifford probably opting to go for the Shepherd instead of the Saproling, saving the life gain from the Saproling later. Ooh, but there's the Radiating Lightning. And unfortunately, Clifford only has enough mana. Oh no, it only costs one. Why? I keep thinking that costs two. So it looks like Clifford is going to be able to sacrifice both of their Saprolings and gain 4 life here.
Well, again, when you have red down to absolutely nothing, even though the score, and I always tell everybody, the score is not an indicator of what's going on with the game. It may look like, to most people, that Seawolf is doing well right now because Seawolf has 17 life. However, Clifford is now in control of this game, knowing everything that we know about what's in the hands. You never want to be top decking in red. The only exception being if Experimental Frenzy were to hit the field, but this is Pauper. So you never want to be top decking with Pauper red deck wins.
Yeah, Seawolf is definitely on the back foot here. A lot of back and forth this game. It's been very interesting. Ooh, and a big Saproling migration coming down this turn. Definitely going to kick that.
Well, this is huge because now Clifford can gain even more life in the event of an emergency.
Which at 3 life, this is definitely an emergency. Knight cracking in for 7, clearing the board here. Goblin Gathering coming down for 3 this time, since there's 1 Goblin Gathering in the graveyard. Clifford getting in for 1, clearing that board. Let's see if Seawolf can draw anything. Unfortunately, no, and that's going to be concede.
All right, heading into the next game here. I don't believe most of the players sideboard in Pauper. I think we're following the Pauper format that's currently in place by Arena. And since we do best of 3 here on Wednesday Night Magic, we'll play best of 3, but I do not believe we're sideboarding at all for this.
Yeah, right now Pauper is best of 1, so no sideboards. Interesting hand for Clifford. Yeah, it's a kind of an awkward keep, but at the very least, Clifford knows they're going up against Mono Red right here, and Fungal Infection has several really good hits against Mono Red. Unfortunately, the Burning Prophet is not one of those.
No, but Clifford is going to wait patiently on it, and he can afford to wait there because Deathbloom Thallid on turn 3 is very solid Thallid. Omnivore is very solid on turn 4, and Spark Harvest again, another sacrifice engine, pretty good here. Speaking of sacrificing, while this isn't sacrificing per se, Seawolf is pitching a card to draw 2 new ones, and not too bad so far. Fire Urchin and Burning Prophet, both very good candidates for this.
Another Deathbloom Thallid for Clifford. Definitely going to start getting some bodies onto the battlefield here. I wouldn't be surprised if next turn Clifford opts to go for the Thallid and hold up the Infection instead of going for the Omnivore. But, on the other hand, that's a lot of 1/3s that Clifford's seeing right now.
I think if you're Clifford right now, you continue to play the Deathbloom Thallids because there's so much value when they die. They usually take a creature with them, and it leaves behind a Saproling. I mean, you can't ask for too much more in Pauper in terms of value.
That's true, and now that I think about it, the Fungal Infections are -1/-1. So they completely turn off the damage from an unpumped Urchin or Prophet.
I want to see what's so important that Seawolf keeps bouncing to the top.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what it ends up being as well.
Speaking of cards that replace other cards, now there is a Doomed Dissenter in Clifford's hand. Now there is one major issue right now with the current board state, and that's that Clifford only has 1 swamp available right now, which could be problematic later on.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of Clifford's cards here require black pips, or at least 1 black mana to play. And Clifford can only play 1 of those a turn, even though most of them are pretty cheap.
Yeah, again, you would think Pauper's a format where you don't have a ton of super expensive cards, but something becomes immediately expensive when you do not have the right colors to play, or you are restricted to playing 1 card per turn because of the color issue.
One advantage Mono Red will always have, it is 1 color and never has mana problems.
Now, I think if you're Clifford here, yes, absolutely the right play here. You play the Omnivore in case you want to gain life.
Ooh, Burning Bright is really good here.
That might do it here for Clifford, unfortunately. It might do it for Seawolf to bring it to game 3, depending on how the blocks take place here.
Yeah, this is probably going to clear the board either way.
Clear the board? It might clear the rest of Clifford's life at this point. Oh, and the value off the Burning Prophets. Oh, I get it. Burning Bright, Burning Prophet. I see a theme here. Yeah, that's a board clear. And I can't believe I'm saying that in Pauper, but it pretty much is. So now at this point, if you're Clifford, you need to put something on the field, and this is rather fortunate. So not only does Yavimaya Shepherd the Fungus create a Saproling, but Clifford also has the ability to Fungal Infection here.
Unfortunately, I think if Clifford goes for this block, the shock is just going to come right down on that Shepherd.
Would you want to do that, though, with your opponent at 3? No, you go for face. Face is the place here. question is then, Roguelink, and I know it's so hard to say this because hindsight is 2020. Wouldn't have Seawolf wanted to wait for Clifford to declare blockers first before giving that away?
Possibly. It really depends on what kind of game plan he was going for. If he wanted to make an extra sapperling, like I wouldn't be surprised if in Clifford's mind he wanted the extra body to block, in which case he'd want to do it before blocks.
Yeah, if Seawolf wasn't at 20 life, I would think that what he did there was right, but it's something to think about, especially when messing with red, and you're going against a low life total. It's a deck that has the capacity to gain life, as we saw last game. You can't help but wonder, gotta go a little aggressive on this, and you have to think also about timing of certain things as well. I feel like Seawolf made a decent move, but there's that just gut reaction of I have to respond immediately. And remember, especially in restricted formats like Draft and Pauper, you kind of want to give yourself a second to think about, declaration of blockers and such. Just something to think about in terms of play style.
Clifford playing the Thallid, passing the turn, probably waiting for that dead weight. As you were saying, gotta time it right, gotta get it on blocks. Seawolf definitely suspicious at this point, opting not to crack in with no way to pump either the Prophet or the Urchin. And it's gonna give Clifford a chance to build that board back up.
I think there's a time and a place to be aggressive here. I definitely think Clifford is running out of time. I mean, we haven't seen too many shocks this round, right? And Seawolf is able, through the Burning Prophet, to scry most turns and scry closer to that shock that would defeat Clifford. Clifford has no way of gaining life right now. So this is a rough spot for him. Seawolf is just digging for the shock at this point. That's all it's going to take, is that direct damage. And I wonder if Clifford's being a little too conservative with his removal at this point.
Well, the problem with a lot of Clifford's removal is it's not quite enough to just outright kill something. I think he is going to just do that now with the dead weight plus the fungal infection to just get something.
I like the Spark Harvest play here to get rid of Prophet, so Seawolf can't scry as easily, at least.
And there we go. That's going to clear the board for Clifford, giving him another Sapperling as well.
You gotta love Seawolf's swing here, because Seawolf knows, again, you can't give the Sapperling deck the chance to multiply, otherwise it gets out of hand really quickly. So Seawolf tried to create a situation where Clifford felt like he couldn't block, but Clifford saw right through that, saw it was a bluff, and decided to keep charging forth with the blocks. Ooh, is this gonna do it? Radiating Lightning settles this. GG to Seawolf. Talk about being in a tight situation, Roguelink. What a game. We go to game 3.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Seawolf was digging for that direct damage. He finally got there, which is good, because Clifford had about 3 turns, had about a 2-3 turn clock on him.
And this is one of the things that makes Pauper so great, folks. There's no blowout situation by any means. Yes, you can get the hand where you get all the Death Bloom Thalids and blah, 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 but most of the time you're going to have these nice, close, tight games. And I very much appreciated Seawolf hanging on, trying to scry all he can to finally get to that direct damage. Great moves there by Seawolf, and this is a collection of Magic the Gathering cards in Clifford's hand, Roguelink. Oh my.
Ooh, there we go. So Clifford switching into a mono black deck this game. Interesting choice.
You took my joke. I love it.
Sometimes your deck just sideboards for you.
It feels that way, doesn't it? I'm liking Seawolf's opening hand here. You have Spellgorger Weird, you have Fire Urchin, a lot of synergy right now in Seawolf's hand, whereas Clifford mulling down to 5, and for good reason, and for necessary reason, just is going to be a little more assertive here despite not having a ton of resources, and right here it's the correct call. This is going to be a really tough match for Clifford right off the bat.
Yeah, I imagine Seawolf is going to take a couple turns dropping all of these really good 2-drops, all of these really good 3-drops that are going to all pump themselves from every single spell that he plays.
I like the fungal infection here. It's a shame that there's not a wizard. Oh, here we go. This is a wonderful by fungal infection for the Saproling. What does Seawolf have now? Seawolf has a Storm Strike. Now, do you Spark? No, Spark Harvest would be a sorcery here. So this is an excellent play by Seawolf.
Yeah, the first strike is going to be just enough to take out that zombie.
And I think at this point, as you were saying, Roguelink, I think Seawolf's very creature-rich hand is just going to take over at this point.
Right, Clifford had a decent amount of removal and's got one more kill spell, two more kill spells. But unfortunately that dead weight's not going to be quite enough to take one of these out. It is going to slow Seawolf down a little bit, but it's not going to be enough to get the kill.
If that Spellgorger Weird was not in Seawolf's hand, I'd say Clifford has some time to recover, but Spellgorger Weird gets really big really quickly. Now, Clifford does have the option to Spark Harvest the Weird, and I 100% would do it, especially with the lack of green at this point to cast that Yavimaya Shepherd.
Right, the Weird can definitely get out of hand really fast. It's another one of those explosive cards in the red-blue spells deck going around Pauper.
I like how the Fire Urchin is going to get pumped here for a 0-1.
I really hope Seawolf swings in with that Urchin. Send a message. There we go! Not even cracking in for 0.
Ask and you shall receive, Roguelink.
Sometimes you just gotta crack in for 0. Send that message. Let him know you mean business.
And this really is, I swear Clifford did side into a mono black deck. You hit that nail right on the head, bro. This is the kind of game of Magic you don't want to see. Not necessarily because, you know, you want one player to win over the other, but you want to see a game of Magic. This game is a very Magic the Gathering game because, I mean, look at this. And look, the black mana unlucky streak continues here for Clifford. Clifford's dancing saying, hey, I got this, but I can't play this.
Clifford attempting to put the Shepherd back in his deck. Failing to do so, unfortunately.
Seawolf calling the Fire Urchin the little engine that could, swinging in for negative does nothing. I believe that builds character right there.
Hey, we got there! It's not gonna be enough, though.
Nah, Jaya's greeting is definitely going to put an end to this.
Gonna pump some creatures, take out the 2/2. Probably only gonna crack in with the Prophet this time. No sense losing either of those other two to the Saproling. Clifford opting to block, saving what little life they have.
And there's the Burn Bright, which should get Clifford or Seawolf most of the way there against what is left of Clifford.
Well, with only one blocker, that's going to be enough.
Yes, it is. And there it is. The third game was a little shaky, but overall, the series was a wonderful series. Game 3 was lacking a little bit there in content, unfortunately, thanks to the mana and the hand that Clifford was dealt. But overall, great series between these two.
Yeah, it was definitely a very interesting couple of games. A lot of back and forth. Anyone could have won. It was very, very fun to watch. So what kind of decks have you been messing with in terms of the Popper format the last week?
I have been currently working on decks that revolve around hexproof creatures. I was talking about this earlier. So we're talking Soul of the Rapids, and of course everybody's favorite turtle, the Cold Water Snapper, plus enchantments. Big fan.
Yeah, Cold Water Snapper is a really, really good card in draft and in Popper. It's going to be pretty. It's pretty hard. It's hard to deal with a 4/5 hexproof in any format.
All right, so I believe now it might be our time to play Rogue Link. Were you scouting? I should have answered that. Now you know what's coming. Dang it.
I refuse to answer that question.
Boo. Of course, you know?
I plead the fifth.
Oh, I know you would. But that's okay. You're allowed. You're allowed.
How are
Yeah,
you
it's going to be very interesting.
Oh, I would say so too.
Welcome, Clifford.
Yes, welcome. Good games,
Hello.
Clifford. I felt so bad about your last match. I'm sitting here saying, why does Magic do this every now and then? It's so heartbreaking to see a wonderful series like that, and then your deck transforms into a mono black deck that shouldn't be a mono black deck out of nowhere, and I'm just sitting here going, why? Why does this happen?
New Mulligan rules will change all of that.
The London Mulligan. Yeah, we should have talked about that at the beginning. We'll talk about that at the beginning of next week. There is a new Mulligan coming, though. We are going to say goodbye to the Vancouver Mulligan soon and hello to the London Mulligan. So,
I'm very excited for it.
I'll see. I'm gonna miss the Vancouver Mulligan, but I gotta give the London Mulligan a shot at.
And Describe
Yeah.
was a nice little extra add-on. But yeah, it'll be nice to actually pick your cards as opposed to totally randomness.
Yeah, the
And
way
I
I'm
agree.
the way I'm looking at it is
Yeah.
the London Mulligan is basically a super powered Vancouver Mulligan.
Yeah, everyone's saying it makes combo decks so much stronger. I'm like, yes, it makes your aggro deck so much stronger too. Like, it doesn't discriminate. It lets you both. You want 3 lands, you want 2 lands, you can choose 3 or 2 lands. You have the option.
I
It
do
just
love
makes
me some
everything more
synergy.
consistent. So, if you guys want to go start getting ready, we will talk about your guys' match.
Yes, and in case you want to talk about the deck, Seawolf has certainly seen enough of it. Seawolf helped me test it. I'm going to be using. We're going to call it a controller or mid-range Seawolf. I feel it plays like a control deck, as weird as that is.
There's only one proper term for that deck, and it's the Turtle Club. You know it, and I know it.
It's the Turtle Club. It's a turtle. And
Are you turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Oh boy.
You will find out.
Man, maybe I should pull out my not good deck against Sky's good deck, and then
No.
pull out my good deck against whatever Sky's playing after that.
And if I
You
get
know
blown
what?
out, by all means.
I have every single Turtle Club deck built. I have 4 Turtle Club decks.
You do. You have like 4 variants of Turtle Club. They all hinge on the same thing. They're being snapped at by something that should not have wings, but there it is.
That's absolutely incredible.
But what I will do is I'm going to take a really quick break, but what I can do is I can open up my deck list at least so you all can take a look at it. And even you, Rogue Link, I'll let you do it because it's fun. But I think I'll probably do the Demir Turtle Club, and then I'll probably switch into the Azorius or Izzet Turtle Club. So I am going to leave my deck list on for that, so you can see how turtly the Turtle Club is here. I'll leave a nice little layout, and remember, no side decks, so you're not going to see that from here.
Yep. Sounds good, and I will attempt to display the glory of Justicar's portal.
Yay.
Yee. Also, Roguelink, if you actually no, we can't capture audio. Dang it! I like being able to talk to my opponent. Well, that's something I like to do during speedrunning. Maybe one day we can figure out a way to
Maybe
split
one
the audio.
day.
Maybe one day. But I will be right back, and here's the deck list if you want to talk about it. I'll let y'all know in Discord when I'm ready, and thank you again. And I look forward to this, Roguelink. It should be a fun time.
Likewise, good luck with the games.
Thanks,
Go
you
have
too.
fun.
Be right back.
Enjoy.
So, Seawolf,
Yes.
good evening. That was a contentious set of matches we just had.
Yeah, my deck's trying to give me a heart attack. It's like, oh yeah, you have all these burn spells, but where are the burn spells?
Where are they? They're hiding under lands and
Your dog have a mountain.
Yeah.
Yes, and the first deck was funny, and then the wizards actually went off the flying wizard with the pumping. Same concept in the red deck, really. It's the wizards that have that. Oh, you cast spells, sweet. Let's get swole.
yes. This is what I wanted to build around when I first put Pauper together. Like,
Yep.
It made me think of drafting Dominaria, and everybody knows how much I like to draft Dominaria. I've done it all of 3 times, but each time I've drafted blue-red wizards because why not? It's so much fun. So why not play with all those commons?
That's intriguing. Do you think, like, the wizard's like, oh, you need to have the bounce spell, you need to have the wizard retort, you need to have Adeliz to pump them all up, you need to have the fairies, the 1/3 flying that super pump when you cast spells.
Oh yeah,
Oh shoot, I made a whole deck about them too. I forgot. I'm trying to forget the name of those. The Weed
there's
Dragonauts.
so many cards. The names
Weed
names all fall
Dragonauts.
apart. The Weed Dragonauts. Yeah.
There's no excuse for me though, but that was original Ravnica. They came back from
Yeah.
original Ravnica. I played original Ravnica. There's no excuse.
I did too. I
Weed
played
Dragonauts.
Weed Dragonauts in original Ravnica. Like,
Yes. Same thing with the red deck where I call it Steamkin version 0.7 because it's not quite Steamkin, but it's like, oh, I have this Spellgorger weird who will eat my spells and become effectively a Steamkin. It can get bigger. It can end up being bigger than the Steamkin at the end. It won't charge an engine, but there's nothing to charge. There's no frenzy. There's no crazy draw spells. There's no mythic level planeswalkers to feed you. I have a burn spell. Hopefully enough burn spells get through his dome before he hits me with a 4/4 flying bird.
pretty much. Yep.
That's Pauper. It's a whole mess. If you go play Pauper,
Welcome to Pauper.
you play classic Pauper, and they just banned all blue spells, mind you. They banned a bunch of blue spells that were basically free card draw, and apparently it's on its head now. The whole format's gone haywire. So some people think Pauper is the format of Kings because it's just goofy. You don't have to spend $800 on a deck, but it's definitely changed a lot in the last 2 weeks alone with the changes of the rules by Wizards. And No Escape. It's funny because you think last event on the arena was all planeswalkers all day long. It was here have a planeswalker and have a free creature, have a planeswalker and have some random doohickey for 4-drop. This event is just nope, no planeswalkers. You're poor.
Nope. No planeswalkers at all. Not even those uncommon ones.
Nope, you are the 10th Edition Legionnaire. You are walking around with a pike and hoping nothing 4/4 or bigger jumps out of that alleyway.
So all it takes is just that slightly bigger fish, and then you're just sad,
Yep.
staring up at the bigger fish.
Yes. So, what's your Pauper principles? Obviously, I went for my one deck was life gain of everything, like gain life constantly. So no matter how bad you punch me, I don't care. And other one was red deck wins effectively. What's your Pauper premise? What do you go for in Pauper decks?
Like for the wizards, I just wanted to experiment with that theme a little bit. For the Thalids, it was more of a like how many cards can I play that when they die they replace themselves, and how can I get value out of that?
There you go. So basically, it's getting resources, bonus resources off what little you have. In Pauper, flying is a huge deal because flying is having flyers that are in common level. No Party Hawk, no Disco Hawks there. A few random things. That 2/2 guy at pups that bumps up. It's like that's crazy. That's like what's he doing in common?
Yeah, get a flyer that also has a relevant ability on this attached, and then you're just golden.
You play in white. You have the. I'm not sure if the. He might be uncommon. The 1/1 flyer that gets that pumps against first strike when he's casting Historics. It's kind of the same deal, but it's like for a 2-mana drop flyer, it's like, oh, and by the way, I do this too. Crazy. All right, I hear pushing of buttons, so I think we are on our way to seeing yet more Pauper action.
Yeah, I think we are about ready to start.
Anyone who's here, I hope
It's
you
gonna be
enjoyed.
Rogue Link versus Skybills. If you
Mhm.
enjoyed our games, like now you're gonna see like the good people playing. Like
Yeah, definitely. Skybills there. Our Mythic Tournament qualifier and Rogue Link match for blockers. Mantras to live by. Hopefully, if you're here, you saw the event over the weekend of our own little tournament here, the Instant Speed, their first big tournament off Maturino.
yeah, our summer challenge was a rousing success this weekend.
It was a whole lot of fun. And I tried copying the first place deck, and it's not working for me. It got me through gold without bringing sweat and hit platinum, and just got stonewalled. It's like, nope, right not. You don't gain points to this deck here.
I have not had yet enough time to actually sit down and grind the ladder since the reset a few days ago. I need to.
Got at the platinum, and I got distracted by a few joke decks I made that were funny, but they still wins here and there. But for real grinding, you gotta find something good. All right, here we go. Let's begin the grind.
Yeah. So you gotta grind if you. That's the truth. To see a mono red, somebody's gotta surf it.
All right, Pauper. Rogue Link going white black, and he mentioned bouncy. He wants to do flicker effects.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
And Skybills is playing what I call the Turtle Club, which is basically ramping up to life-linking flying death turtles that can't be targeted.
Now that
Yeah.
that sounds like fun. And we see the cold water snapper in her hand already. Just gotta get there.
All right. The other thing about blue-black is there's no ramp. So mercifully, it's not going to be a ramped-up creature. It'll show up turn 6 at best.
At best, maybe even 8.
And we're seeing here the tap lands coming in forcefully tapped. There's no options for burning yourself or speed.
No, that's reserved for rare lands. Come on now.
You must pay for the privilege of hurting yourself. Alright. Now seeing Rogue Link with his bounce creatures. So Skymarch Sploditor is a ping back and forth, a drain for 1.
Also, irrelevant spell. Now it's dead. Doesn't matter. And exiled. Obnixilis just said no. Get out of here.
Alright, and here's a gem for common level. Ill-Gotten Inheritance, which is a free drain per turn. And basically puts a timer on you. If you go to 4, you die, because basically you can pop it for 4 damage.
Yeah, it's a free 4 damage. Well, free. It's 6 mana, 4 damage later, as well as a surprisingly consistent source of damage over time.
Alright, and the Rogue Link side, we're seeing the Skymarch is back for more and has Kaya's Ghost Forms. Now, when this one gets crushed to death, it'll come back immediately.
Yes, it will stick around for a while.
We're seeing bounce effects now. So this Civic Stalwart comes in, he's beefy, and gives the board +1/+1. Also, Taylor's Light Shield is a +1/+1 permanently, and the Griffin also does the same thing.
We have set up the first part of the Turtle Club by having a turtle come to hang out.
Alright, this is how obnoxious, but next turn she might drop 2 marks on it and make it an 8/9 Bloodthirsty Vampire Turtle. Let's see how crazy she is.
That's a possibility. Oh no, she's gonna come up 1 mana short to do 2 of them, but still.
Yeah. Mark of the Vampire is a very expensive spell. The white one, the one I had, is a 3-drop, which is only +1/+1 in lifelink.
Still, getting the lifelink on your crazy turtle, your crazy death turtle, is very powerful, as you can see.
It's very powerful. The question is, however, Sky's at 13. She's gaining life rapidly, but can she withstand another swing from all these creatures?
Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10 damage on the board, looks like.
Alright, 10 on the board. 1 lifelink going back for Rogue Link.
Rogue Link now is setting up. He has 7 power in creatures to block the snapper, but unfortunately does not know there is another mark coming out. Oh well, maybe not. We're not going to see the mark this turn.
Now, Sky's playing a little defensively here. Now, the question is, Sky can't hold back forever because Rogue Link can just come with the flyers over the top.
Yeah, these flyers do represent a 4-turn, 3-turn clock.
And Sky Bills plays the Epicure of Blood, which magnifies all your drain effects. So whenever you gain life, they lose an extra life on top of it. So Epicure of Blood doubles the effect of the Ill-Gotten Inheritance, doubles the effect of Lifelink. Not doubles, but it adds a little ping to the bonus on top of it. Alrighty. Now let's see what Sky opts to do. Will she opt to buff up both creatures? Will she make one super turtle?
One super turtle versus an army of other creatures.
Who would win? An army of Orthov beasties or one scaly boy?
We're about to find out.
4, 7, 8, 9. So there's lethal for that turtle on the board. If Roguelink commits to dropping everything on that turtle, it will die.
In that case, it'd be a lot of trading going on.
It'd be a 4 for 1, but after that he'd be pretty well set. So Sky will probably hold back a turtle. It also means that Sky can't hold back with the ground forever, but also Roguelink can't bring it into the ground, because that turtle gets a bite at anything, she gains 8 life. And thankfully Roguelink there's no fight effects in black or blue. Now we're seeing a huge... The Ares force is getting bigger and bigger. It's getting to 7 damage now.
Yep. And that's gonna... That'll be lethal next turn. Sky has to gain some life here. Somehow. Oh, hey, a moment of
Ooh.
breathing. That'll gain life.
That will gain life. It'll be hilarious. If she plays her cards right, she might do it during combat. Meanwhile, Vampire Ghidra is coming in for the swing. What a hero that Pepper is. Godspeed, you sorry avian. Alright. So in one fell swoop, Sky has gained 10 life. And they hold off. Now, Roguelink is the problem. Do you go all in and risk being chewed on next turn? Math work in your favor in that way, or do you hold back and try and kill the turtle when it comes back again?
Well, you know what they say, math is for blockers.
Well, Sky's blocking. And you can cheat in math by doing this. Observe. Yep. Cheating in
More
math.
life gain.
Or ping damage.
Sky will go to 23 with this next attack.
Well, yep. Now she's changed the rules of the game, because now it's flying.
Nope, now it's over.
Now it's got a pair of wings, too. Ben Up's got fangs the size of New York. It's got a pair of wings now.
You know,
Now, Roguelink, if Roguelink swings out, he cannot possibly kill Sky. And Sky might notion him right now just because I have life, who cares? But no, she'll hold back to it. Here's Portal. Portal's the funny spell that you was talking about before that gives him... They come back with First Strike.
oh yes.
But nothing's First Striking that turtle. Not at 11, 12.
No, the turtle's gonna...
Punching first is important. Punching last is also important.
Punching harder is also important.
Roguelink eyeing that ill-gotten inheritance, knowing that if he ever gets below 4 health, he's probably dead. In fact, if he goes below 5 health, because the Epicure of Blood will add 1 more on top of it.
We will own it, yep.
Alright. Sad to hold off and see if she can get that extra damage in. It's sneaky. Let's see.
The ghost form will let the bloodletter come back, but...
Maybe a sea and a drop. A drop and a sea of blood.
You know.
Number 2, huh? We're trying to save it now. It ends up being the same effect. Kaya's ghost form will not trigger twice. So, if Roguelink was hoping to get two pings off that, it's not going to happen.
Fortunately
Reply.
not.
Sky replies with, oh, by the way, more hexproof.
Yeah, more flying hexproof things that will kill you if you don't block them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the air is available. just to attempt to intercept that turtle. It's not going to work out.
Well, the turtle is so far beyond. Hold
Yes.
up deep in the turtle club. Nobody's gonna get in there to help.
Yes, now Rogue League is playing white-black. You assume that there is a ton of removal white-black. There's Exile, there's target attack creature, there's 5 damage to you if you're tapped, there's 5 damage on the freebie, there's sacrifice attacking creature, there's just kill you outright with on a black spell, and a black instant spell which means you die. And Rogue League seems to have skipped those in favor of bouncy effects.
Yeah, none of them matter for the turtle anyway.
Well, of course not. That's the other thing. Is also, you can have your eviscerate. Doesn't matter because, as the flavor text says, the citizens of the area have wanted this turtle suit for 500 years. For 500 years, the turtles have denied them.
So, angry turtle. And that's Rogue Link down to 3.
Yes,
All it's going
Oh.
to take is an untap from Sky.
and he goes bye-bye. Now, both players have done each other about, as Rogue League mentioned in Discord, about 40 damage to each other, which is fantastic. Except one was getting 10 life per time, one was getting 1 life per time. Slight differential.
Give and take. Give and take.
Alright, Rogue League goes first this time. Now we're seeing in my decks, I only went with 4 of the tap lands. I went with 4 Guild Gates or the bounce lands for my decks. Rogue League went ham and did all 8 of the tap lands, which gives you much more flexibility.
I went different in each one.
Yeah. It does depend. Do you need the double taps? Do you need double white? Do you need double black? That's very important. You're making a deck.
Do you
Yeah.
want your deck to... Is your deck going to be too hamstrung with lands coming into play tapped off the top?
You have to commit to your deck input. So we're making a deck for Pauper, for oddball events, even for standard. Like having a 2 mana cost, a 2 blue force, or a 3 blue force for, like, say, Jace. Like, you want Jace to play? That's a 3 blue cost. You want Nim Nizzet? You want 3 hard blue, 3 hard red. Like, you gotta have that land.
Yep. The first when I built my first 5-color control deck on Arena, that's what I put all my wild cards into, was the mana base, so that I could cast Frilled Mystic and Niv Mizzet reliably on 4 and 6, and it worked half the time.
Yes. Paper mana and Arena. You'll spend most of your wild cards and our money on mana.
Mana, mana base is the most important.
I had a binder full of all the Ravnica lands that first came out. I sold them all a few years later, and they made bank because everyone loves that land.
Oh yeah.
All right, so similar to last game, we're seeing Sky has the Aven Eternal, which is a flyer that creates a zombie. A little unmask on the bottom there, just a little extra body. And we're seeing Omnixilus, we're seeing a few removals back and forth. But I'm really not getting his crazy creatures. He's getting lots of land and 2 birds.
Yeah, lots of land at this stage. Not what Rogue Link wants to see in his deck. Is
Luckily for him,
7 lands.
Luckily for him, Sky's not drawing anything obnoxious. There's been no hexproof creatures, there's been no real beaters.
Just a couple of birds. Birds
Birds and
zombies.
zombies. Yeah. As that offers, knowing that Rogue Link's hand is pretty small, like, hey, you want the zombie? You want to trade your bird for my zombie? Also, Ill-Gotten Inheritance is sitting there just slowly nibbling away.
At this point, though, Rogue Link's safe from the 4 damage drain, as it costs 6 mana, not 4. Oh, and another land. Come on.
Sweet. Praise be the Shuffler. Alright, so Rogue Link out of options gives his fancy enchantment to the bird.
Yep.
Because he's got to block something.
See the chump block on one of the Eternals.
It's straight trump block. It's just you have to block there.
Yeah. You can't not.
And this is lethal turn without any kind of bonuses here. Ooh, okay, well. So we're hearing the shenanigans here of life gain 1/2 back and forth. Little pings back and forth. Heal Hawk gains 1 back. Inheritance steals 1 back. Epicure steals an extra bonus 1 because it can. And yeah. So
That will do it.
So math is with blockers, and Sky said I don't want to have any blockers there. So forget math.
I will give Sky the 2-0 victory in the first game.
I warned you, dog. I warned you about turtles, man. Alright, now Sky Builds' funny part is that she couldn't get away from turtles. She made every deck she made for Pauper involves turtles. She cannot get away from Hexproof. It's too good for her to get away from. Like I made a zombie deck that was a mass that didn't work out too well. I made a percolate deck that didn't work too good. I made the flying, white blue vampire deck or white green vampire deck was kind of buffed, kind of got lifelink. I made the burn deck you saw.
Yeah,
Sky
that
has-
burn deck looks fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a better spell. I should put a Precision Bolt, which is the 3-cost 3 damage spell. Because Lightning Bolt's too strong, and Lightning Strike is uncommon.
Yeah, lightning bolt.
In my day, that was common.
Remember when?
Ugh. I lived the Black Summer. I lived Lightning Bolts being a free 1-drop.
Lightning
I'd-
bolt's the best card in any format it's ever.
I had to develop a deck to survive Ravager. I was out of the game for 5 years, came back in during Darksteel, and that was a mistake.
What a time to come back to Magic.
I decided to vault. Here, lose all your life. What?
Yeah, right.
That's why I made the False Cure deck. 3 colors. You lose the game. In response, you lose the game. They're all instant spells.
What is this
All right.
card? Clan Ironworks. What?
Please don't. Okay. Enough of my rambling
We
about
have
the
a
past.
Mesa unicorn that is flying. We have flying unicorns.
Okay, so we're seeing Roguelink took a Grixis take on my deck. I made a black-red Amass deck. He made all 3 colors. Went whole hand Grixis for Amass. And Sky now has Azorius Turtles.
More
Lawbind.
turtles.
Lawbind Turtles.
Oh, and that blink of an eye coming up big, just a kill spell on a token.
Alright, Amass is funny. It's a bonus little thing there. It's an extra bonus for you for all the spells. It does a lot of effects and gives all things there. You can play the tokens a little bit with the creatures, different effects. But still a token. So if it ever leaves play for any reason whatsoever, it's gone.
No token space in your hand.
Meanwhile, Roguelink has drawn no lands this game. And is facing a turtle.
On 2 lands and looking at this, he's gonna have nightmares about turtles tonight. I can tell you.
You know what to do. You go home, you get out the thing, you turn
Knighted.
it off. Sir Turtle. That's Sir Turtle's use.
Sir Coldwater Snapper.
So Roguelink's done tonight. He'll sit back, open a cold one on Netflix, and watch Master Disguise and see the actual Turtle Club shtick.
What a great movie.
I saw the end of it. It was painful.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not a good movie by any means.
No.
but
It-
It's great though.
yes, I played Cusa Grande. There's a lot of things that are good. They're not good. You enjoy it after the fact. You suffer through it, you look back and think, oh, that's pretty funny. But midstream, you're not happy. Alright. So,
Now we have some blockers.
little land here, some chump blockers. Now, Roguelink has in his hand a great deal of gas. He has enough plays around this thing.
Unfortunately, the double law mage binding.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
That's gonna.
Yes, so. I don't know about land flood or anything else. Roguelink could have dealt with that turtle. If he had a few spells go off, that Amass would have gotten sizably annoying. He could have fended off for a few more turns. But 2 lands for the first 5 turns, not gonna fly.
So into game 2, Roguelink, all 3 colors of mana right off the bat, 3 full lands, and start casting.
Alright, here we go. Spells. A functioning planeswalker. Here we go. Alright. Ooh, sneak stuff too, so. I used the Storm Strike, which is the 1-drop, slightly less of a buff than First Strike. Roguelink's running the Sure Strike, which is a +3/+0, and First Strike.
I really like the Sure Strike. I'm playing that in Constructed right now as a 2 of.
No one sees it coming. Constructed has a lot of like set decks. All the decks that are in the meta right now, you have like 4 or 5 spice spaces, where it's like the decks are pretty solid, like, well done, but you have a little bit of room to add a little jank to it if you want to. Not even the sideboards. Main deck, just put something crazy.
Yeah, I'm still trying to break Dreadhorde Butcher in standard. I still think it's the best card, the best creature in the format.
It may come back once M20 comes out. Things may get hairy.
Yeah, I think it's just like the deck's missing like one or two pieces that would really put it over the top.
That's funny because the Aristocrats have been saying that for the last 5-6 years now since the Innistrad. Like, don't worry, next set they'll fix it. We'll have our Aristocrats back. We'll figure it out.
Yep, that's.
And it keeps happening.
I'll learn how to play Magic again. Now that. Remember when damage was on the stack? That's when I was good at Magic.
Something called stacking. This is how it works. Yeah, song for that actually. Use me tell. His damage on stack was hilarious. Secure Tri-Builder, Mog Fanatic. It's It's still a very, very good card, but it's not the dumb, stupid, like, this is a common? What's wrong with you card that used to be?
Oh, we're gonna trade and get a land? Okay.
Sweet. Yeah, for reference, that card costs 2 mana sorcery now. Gets your land use. You see your tap land and say, yep, that's a land, alright. It's in my hand. Not even play, just in hand. Alright.
Rogue Link amassing up to a 3/3.
Okay, Rogue swarm on the board now. However, the problem is this still stands that there's a hexproof creature that's not vampiric, is now a knight. So Sir Vampiric. Sir Rapids. Rogue says in a deck full of targeting kill spells, what do? Guy will block the 3/3. Now we're gonna see funny things here. We're gonna see you get bigger. No, we're gonna see another one. Alright. Now here's Sky's thing. She plays a lot of aggro decks, so she plays them and she's timid sometimes. Like, she doesn't swing all the time. Like, you want to gain that 6 life now. There's nothing that Rogue can do to you. That'll stop that. She plays swing.
No cards in hand, no nothing.
Yes, my one critique of Sky aggro play, there we go, she swings, is that she plays aggro and thinks, I'll hold back after I don't want to lose anything. It's like, it's aggro! Here's Knox Seltzer, phone with the mouth harder. There you go, now you're seeing some high level plays. You're seeing bouncing my own creature, put it back in play, making a zombie bigger.
Seems good to me. Take this guy down to 8.
Unfortunately. Now we have double vampire action and another chump blocker. So Mark the Vampire is a stronger buff for 1 more mana, but Squire's Devotion gives you a body.
Does give you a body. And now Sky up to 18, Rogue Link at 4.
Womp womp. Sky not flexing the Sphinx Insight, she's going to just swing in and finish it off. There we are. 2-0 again for Skybills.
2-0 twice for Skybills. GG to her.
Alright, let's see what we got going on now.
I think that at this point, we're just going to call it an early week and wrap up Wednesday Night Magic here tonight.
Alrighty, we have plans.
We have plans for next week, though. We're going to do Singleton. We're going to do Singleton.
There's debate. How big Singleton?
Debate on how many cards to play in the Singleton. We haven't done 60 card Singleton in a while. Let's
Seems spicy.
you know, let's stay tuned to the Discord. I'll make an announcement either tonight or tomorrow as to what kind of Singleton we're going to play. But we're going to do Singleton next week, since we haven't done that in a while because we took several weeks off to do Standard in a row because of the tournament this past weekend. Again, congratulations to Yeoman for winning.
Woohoo.
Yeah, if you would like to be kept up with all the announcements and everything, be sure to join the Team Instant Speed Discord. That's the best place to keep up with all the information. Also, we have a Twitter account, the Team Instant Speed Twitter. Follow that. That'll keep you up to date with everything you need to know. tonight on Speed Gaming, what's still going on Speed Gaming? Do we have a?
Just hold it
It's
myself.
Wednesday night. There's got to be something still. We have Super Metroid Double Anti Bingo happening both on Speed Gaming 4 and 6 right now. On Speed Gaming 2, Final Fantasy 1 randomizer spring tournaments going on with more Super Metroid Double Anti Bingo coming up at the top of the hour. So if you want to go see some bingo, be sure to go check out the Super Metroid Double Anti Bingo tournament. That's all sorts of good times. And we will be back here next week, Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, with singleton of varying deck sizes. Maybe.
Time will tell.
Steve, anything else you would like to say to the folks at home?
Nope, we'll say have fun this week. I'll be driving hither and yon from Ohio, but bring your favorite Singleton decks, find your oddball things there, find your best deck searches, and come out soon.
All right. Thanks for the commentary and the games, and we will see everyone next week. Y'all have a wonderful, great night.
Hey, everybody.